Hey guys, it's Seiker. I'm back from my trip. Been a week and a half, hasn't it? I missed you guys. Seriously. Uh, we got on like yesterday, but extreme jet lag kinda took a toll on my body. You know, you think you'd be used to it with space travel and all that. Nah. Um, yeah. I'm gonna start recording as soon as possible. Like, I'm gonna probably um stream some Kingdom Hearts or something like that, or play some No Man's Sky's newest edition thing. Ah, I don't know. I'm gonna do some recordings, see if you guys like it. Maybe live stream a little bit here and there, and get back into the groove of things. Huh? Well, by the way, this music is owned by Lo-Fi Lotus, Rafatelius. I thought using his music for a bit. I do not own it. I think it's cool. I like Warframe. He's amazing. Um, yeah. Well, I'm gonna show you some pictures of my trip while I was on planet Earth, you know. So, let's get through this. So, you see this little picture right here. This is when I was in Colorado. Mrs. Seiker brought us to a place called the Guffey Gorge. Guffey's Gorge. Guffey's Gorge, right? So, yeah. This place was very deep. And it was very hard to traverse. But it was a lot of fun walking around. This part is the beginning of it. I will show you more pictures later on, but this is what I got for now. Personally, I think I found the landscape beautiful. It's so red though. It's like looking at Mars is red, except red. But at the same time, there's a lot of beautiful rocks and outgrowths. Next picture. See this picture right here? This is my cub on a rock. She takes after her daddy in blue, doesn't she? We're climbing some steep cliffs. I don't know if you could tell, but they were pretty steep, and we couldn't let our little bundle here walk off them. She's throwing a little pity party here because she was trying to walk off the cliff, and we wouldn't let her. Everybody's fine, and we made it out safe. It was fun climbing though, not gonna lie. And once we get to a certain point, she stopped throwing her little pity party and had fun. I love her. She's a handful though. Let's see what's next. Next picture. Oh yes. Over here is a picture when we're starting to leave said place. In the background is Mrs. Seiker and Little Pan Fruit. There's a reason why I chose this picture in particular. Because yours truly took the picture. If you think it's kind of a bad shot, that's fine. I understand. But yeah. We were visiting my sister's-in-law's place before we leave, so we can have a bonding time before we leave and go back to space. Yeah? While we're on planet Earth, we gotta maintain a human form, you know? In my honest opinion, I think the place was great. Alright. Let's put this back up, shall we? Anyway, so I'm back. Mrs. Seiker, Fox Seiker, and Pan Flute are all back. I truly missed you guys while I was out and about in Colorado. And the airplane ride was kinda... Okay. If you made it this far in the video, I can tell you the story, okay? How did it begin? Let's see. That's right. So we're at the airport. Little Pan Flute, Mammy Seiker, and me, we're going through the usual howdy-doos, like passports, ID, and all that. No trouble, right? Apparently we had to go to Boston. No, not Boston. Texas. We had to go to Texas to get to Colorado. Because we had a delay flight. Big winds and all that, you know? You don't get much wind in space. What can I say? So, while we're waiting, Mrs. Seiker keeps bugging me to drink because I don't do well in flights. Crap places kind of bother me. But, little Pan Flute handled it well. She was playing on her tablet, singing and talking. It was a great time. Okay, so a few hours later, we're on the plane. They had designated seats for us at the time. I was kind of surprised. Watching a lot of movies based on airplanes, I presumed that we would be in the back all the time. That's not the case. Trust me. I thought that was weird. But my precious family was sitting in front of me, and I had to sit in a chair behind them. I kinda felt lonely. There was this guy I sat next to and had a pretty good conversation with. He's some sort of fisher guy, or no? They have an aquifer. They raise a type of fish, rare species. It's pretty good chat. And little Pan Flute handled most of her plane flights pretty well. A few hours later, we landed in Texas, and we're all good. I got really hungry. Space foxes have to eat eventually, right? So we're walking around, and there's these, I don't know what you call them. They're like escalators, but on the ground. You just stand on them, they move you. I don't know what the proper name is. If you know what it is, put it in the comments, eh? Let's see. We let our little teeter toddler walk on them while we're looking for a flight, which it was right next to us. Our port to our next plane was right there. So we decided to have a little fun looking around Texas. I was disappointed. There was no top hats or cowboy hats there. I was expecting everybody to wear them. No joke. It's like, you seen this stuff on movies or all that, or you watch the news, and you see everybody wearing these hats. No, I haven't seen anybody. Unless they're like us, just visiting. So, I had a, what was it? Yes. I had the new flavor of Mountain Dew. It was... Who thought of this stuff? I needed so much water afterwards. Well, we had something to munch on. Let's see. There was a Starbucks nearby and a sandwich shop. Starbucks' line was huge. So we decided to go to the little shop in the corner and eat something. The food was great there, not gonna lie. But little Pan Flute was getting so tired at this point. Here's the thing with my daughter. she fights sleep with a passion, like her daddy. um, she tends to get yelly and grumpy when she gets tired because she doesn't want to really sleep, and she's having so much fun with the other kids around. While mommy, Seiker, was making sure we keep our stuff because before we reported to go to Colorado, Daddy Seiker lost his wallet. It was found by a stranger who reported it. I am so grateful to him. I made sure to check my wallet to have everything, you know. I needed to go back to space. And he was a nice guy. Pretty cool tattoos. One of them was Legend of Zelda based. It was awesome. So we got on. Daddy Seiker was kind of nervous. Mommy Seiker was cool because she had the window seat and tiny pamphlet was in the middle between us. Oh man, it was so beautiful to be in the sky like that. You get to see a lot of things. The ground, the design of the town, and I thought Texas was in a desert bowl of sorts. Not gonna lie, but kinda getting homesick at this moment though. Not gonna lie. I was scared. But I keep reminding myself, Mr. Seiker came out here for me. And it would be injustice if I thought selfishly, you know? So, we're on our way. Space, 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 space. Buff the clouds. Landed in Colorado. I'm not gonna tell you where I landed at, but I don't want anybody to look me up, you know? We met my mother-in-law. Sweet person. Very sweet. I love her. She's amazing. A lot of personality. So, on our way down from the plane, there's extreme jet lag and lack of sleep over 4 or 5 hours. Made us a little bit grumpy. And I have a lung problem called asthma. My asthma is affected when I'm in dry or high altitude, which is in this case high altitude. I had an inhaler and stuff, don't worry. So I called her and we talked, and she drives stick shift. To those who watch me that drive stick shift, you're pretty talented and amazing. I'm used to automatic stuff. Let's see. On our way there, we met. Mammy found our luggage, and Pamphlet was just chilling out. We both said hi, and we went to all the way up the mountain, where her Mammy's grandmother lived. We were in a modular, a small house type of deal, and it was amazing. The place was beautiful. There was a lot of red rocks, a lot of red, and I mean, where we're at, it's very green. So it was like a culture surprise to me. Maybe I can get Mammy on here and she can tell you from her perspective. Maybe. Let's see. Let's call the remember, shall we? There were so many things we passed up while we were talking. There is the Cave of Winds, and their family decided to surprise our, Mammy's return with food. We went to a Mexican restaurant, which it was so stuffed up. I didn't like it, and the food was not bad. No, just the company around the place was kind of, you know. I'm not a people person. It was too crowded. But meeting her family for the first time was a treat. We gotta meet, I'm not gonna say him by name, but uh, Mammy's brother-in-law, Mammy's sister, and Mammy's mother was there, a few of our family. And we all meet and greet. I shook hands and we had a good time, even though I was struggling to breathe at this point. Oh man, it hurt. But the conversations was just too interesting to, not keep in. So after all that, we left and went to the modular, which was a long drive, but it was fun. Oh, by this time it was night. And we almost hit a few things, including a cow. I was so tired I didn't care if we hit a cow. Hey, to me it was like free beef or something, I mean, respect the cow. Yeah? We rested up when we got to the modular, and the first thing we did in the morning is ate breakfast. Oh, I love bagels. Make sure everybody was okay, and, well, visit Mammy's grandmother. Personally, Fox here, me, the guy that's talking, lost my grandparents when I was really, really young. I barely even knew them. I was kind of jealous to see that she has one, but she recently lost a grandpa, so it was very good for her to visit up here. So, we walked up and around the mountainsides, exploring where she was raised at. I'm talking about Mammy at this point. The one that's this drawing's about. Man, let me tell you, it was a struggle at first. My lungs hurt, but everybody was having fun. We found a tick. It pays to have this much fur. And while we were on our way there, we found Mammy's grandmother's dog, which is a pretty cool dog. Huge puppy. But he was so snuggly and lovable. And I met Mammy's grandmother. She lived in a different part of it. She lives in a bigger house. It's kind of huge. But the first time I met, she hugged me. It was nice. I'm not much of a touchy person, but it was pleasant. We sat down, talked about it. She greeted her great grandbaby with so much love and made me smile. And yeah, it was amazing. She's such a fragile lady, but she has so much heart and soul. You don't see those type of people these days, even with her generation, We talked, we had food, I was happy, Mammy was happy, that was the most important thing, and Pamphlet had a lot of fun. The whole reason I came up to this trip though is because Pamphlet had her 3rd birthday, 19th. So, but we had her birthday party a little bit earlier. So after all that, we walked around and we had a chat with we were still chatting with Grandma, and she told us there was a bear nearby. Oh man, a bear, right? You think we can relate because we're both are furry creatures, but no, those things are something else. They came and teared up Grandma's beehive and ate all of her stuff. And from what I was chatting about, they did this multiple times. Oh man, I feel bad, and I like honey. But yeah, after that, we sat on rocks, we meditated. Pamphlet climbed a lot, burned all that energy, and she showed me around. It was a beautiful place. I will show you a picture of it later. Or if you join our Discord, you can see those pictures now. Join our Discord. Okay. So, it was nighttime. I was sleeping right next to Mammy and Pamphlet had her own little room. Oh man, I'm not used to inclines like that. Flatland, and my legs ache all night. Oh, it's not a bad experience, but I didn't like it. Next morning, birthday party. We bought decorations and all that, and Mammy bought me a oxygen tank. Not one of those you're shopping around your nose, but the one you just push a button and breathe in. It was a miracle of technology. Better than my face mask here. Someday I'll show my real face. Yeah. So, first thing in the morning, we had a birthday party. All her family, most of her family, some of her family was there. And her mom, her dad, grandma, a few of her siblings, they all play with Pangea. Pan flute. That's her actual name. And yeah. Man, that was a good time. The funny thing about the party though is my daughter is turning 3, right? We bought her a cake, a single cake. Daddy didn't bake a cake this year, but her family bought 2 extra cakes. Strawberry, a cake with milk in it, and my daughter's lactose. And my cake, which we bought, that wasn't just a plain cake without milk in it. Okay? And I pointed this out that we had 3 cakes on her 3rd birthday. So we light a candle on every cake and let her blow them out. It was beautiful. And everybody had cake. Though Mammy's father is something else. Not in a bad way, but he's one of those guys. He's how do I explain this? Hard-headed, big heart. Hard-headed, big heart. His personality is dominant, and he loves to talk about everything conspiracy theory to growing your own stuff. The conversations were great, not gonna lie. I'm used to long people that talks a lot. All I really do is just nod and say, "Oh, that's cool. That's great. Tell me more." But he was a fun man. I mean, he gave me a hug when we met. You don't see many guys that's emotional like that. Not me, including that. I will straight out say I'm an emotional person. Her brother was an interesting fellow. He was distant, but there. You know, he cares, but if it feels like he won't put any effort or doesn't want to put any effort to know, especially around his father. It was an interesting thing to watch. Especially how they all butt heads and try up on each other. I'm just sitting back, bro, taking my time to breathe. But her brother and I had a conversation that it'll help me breathe better in the environment, though. And we also talked about a lot about technology. It was fun. Her sister, she's a black sheep. You could tell she's the black sheep of the family. But I'm a black sheep myself. Well, black fox, my family. Um, she's a sweet person inside. Has this tough exterior. And not very trustworthy with people. But what got me emotional about her is she came up, hugged me, and told me I did a good job taking care of her sister. And growing up in an environment with such things as a rarity, it was refreshing. I like it. So, birthday's up, everybody's leaving. I was talking to her dad a bit more, and he has this thing about males and females, how they have roles. He's old school like that. I'm not. I mean, I came from a farm, but we also believe everybody pitch in and do their work. He kept winking at me, and I think he kinda respects me a bit more. Because what I tell the truth, and I don't sugarcoat anything. Unless it comes to my child and my beloved. Yeah. He kept winking at me. Like, why? I'm not that type of guy. I don't like subtle hints. So, in hindsight though, he gave us his car to drive. No, it was her mother's car he let us drive. And it was a stick shift. Here's the funny thing. So they're all leaving. They leave together and leave us the car. Mammy was so excited to show me everything else. Like those pictures you seen before of the Guffey Gorge. They have fossil mines and everything. It was cool. So let's end this part of the story by all of us going to bed that night, and our little girl is sugar comaed with nice cute gifts. So we got up, we pinky sweared, we slap our wrists, we prayed to whatever deity that was listening to us at that time. Space Dragon, Space Whale, whatever. And try to learn how to drive stick shift. So we managed to not break the car on way to Guffey Gorge, but Mammy had to control the gas in the clutch while I was moving the gears. It was a hard time for us. So we got it to move, go back and forth, but it died sometimes. So on our way to Guffey Gorge, we're constantly shifting gears and learning how to do it more syncly to each other. Great teamwork, by the way. We made it to Guffey Gorge parking area, and she let off the clutch, and the car died right at the parking spot. We didn't have to turn off or anything. Just poof. It's like, oh, great timing. Then after we were done with the Guffey Gorge, we sent out and went to eat. Same thing. The car kind of stopped here and there, and we kind of shifted the gears a bit too hard. But we got us to a small food and beverage shop. It's very quaint, and I liked it. The food tastes good. Besides my daughter's, breakfast taco? Breakfast burrito? Breakfast burrito. Yes, that thing. And, it was bland. It was tasteless. My daughter didn't like it, and I can see why. But no, it was pretty good. We all ate. And Mammy decided that she's going to walk to the gas station by herself and get the stuff we needed, including oxygen tanks, which Fox needed. So we had a bit of a problem though. Where we parked, we had to go in reverse and drive forward, and we just gotta shift the gears. It was a problem. We almost got hit, and the car died twice on the road. Hey, we made it though. So we're on our way to the, what was it? The fossil quarry, but we accidentally went to the fossil museum. And it was kind of a hard time getting there at this point. We were exhausted and nervous. And we didn't notice we were in the wrong place until we walked in and like, what is this? A museum? Oh, the quarry's back there. Fox, remembering while paying attention to the road, is like he's seen a gate on the said fossil quarry closed. Like, oh, so this is not it. The place where we wanted to go, where the fossils are, can be found and kept, are closed. Anyway, so we went back in. We had a hard time turning the car back on because Mammy was very nervous, but I was trying to keep her calm through it while trying to keep my temper down. Okay? Good. We're supposed to go to her parents at this point. So we drove away from the quarry and went very far into the mountains. Did you know Colorado had prairie dogs? I never seen prairie dog until I came here. They apparently also pop if you run them over on a very hot day. The locals there call them suicidal squirrels. I don't know how to take that. Anyway, so we're on our way. I was looking at the prairie dogs, thinking how cool they are, put our daughter in the back and tell them what the prairie dogs are. We're going up the mountain. And, yeah. Mammy's mom told her how to climb up the mountainside. Stick it in fourth gear and second shift or whatever. I can't remember right now. Yeah. We're climbing up the mountain this way. It was slippery, slidey, and scary because of the loose rocks. And we're so close. There was this part of the place that's stepped, and we weren't going fast enough, so we kind of got stuck on a hill. No, stuck on the part of the mountain. We were close to the home anyway. So she parked it. I went up, met the family-in-law. They thought we were far. Nah. So Mammy's mother jumped in and drove it up here like a champ. Respectable. So we're visiting Mammy's parents at this point, which is, I can relate it to a junkyard. But the thing is, it is very beautiful. And their house is a house. It's a part of the mountain, but Mammy was telling me the lore behind the place and the history of it. Also, Pan Flu was having a good time with her grandparents. That's nice. No, seriously. It was good with her playing her grandmother. Yeah. So, we were walking around while Pamphlet was asleep with Grandma. Grandma needed a nap. And, Pamphlet's grandma. Mammy's mom. There was a lot of interesting things like quartz, rose quartz, just lazurites, a lot of beautiful stones. And we were going around. She was telling me where everything is. It was very fascinating. She knew the land like the back of her hand, and I was still scared a bear would pop up and eat us. And they were having a little farm with good stuff growing around it. I really like the spinach there. Uh, After a few hours, we had some dinner together. Um, Mammy's dad came, and we had a more of a conversation. Oh man, that felt awkward. Yeah, there was few moments with our chats. There was awkward moments with the family, but I try to keep up the conversation. You know, having good stuff. Um, we told Mammy's mom that we're not driving that car again. Alright? So she drove us back home and agreed that we shouldn't drive this car either. I like her. The twist here, ladies and gentlemen, is after we got back to the modular, we learned for the next 3 days. Remember, a few days has passed, and we're supposed to be coming back in 4 days back to our plane. It snowed in May. Shocking, right? Oh yeah, it was. So, it was snowing that day. I mean, when we got home, the day ended. It was snowing in the morning, and it kept snowing, and snowing, and snowing. Huh. I'm from a place that doesn't snow this much in summer. Um, yeah, it was kind of awakener when you get up in the morning, you see a bunch of snow, serving breakfast to your family in a modular. We didn't think nothing of it until a foot of snow happened. We were so worried about our little girl and how much food we didn't have. So we contacted Mammy's grandmother and told her that we're gonna come over and get some food from her. And she does live on a higher elevation. I kind of skipped the part of the Cliff Gorge. I'll come back to that later. Yeah. Snowed. Just so much snow. And we were told it's gonna keep snowing like this for 3 days. In our quick decision moments, Mammy wants to go by herself, but I wouldn't. I would not let her go by herself. She's my partner, and I will worry about her if anything happens. We were sticking together. So, we put our little girl in her room with a tablet and a lot of toys. And if she needs to sleep, sleep in a warm chocolate spot. So, Mammy and I trucked the snow, which is now, let me tell you, I'm 6'3", and this snow, it was like over my waist. And I have a hard time breathing. So, we're marching along. I was breaking ground for her, and we took a shortcut. Well, it felt longer to me. To Grandma's house. We were both switching around and kept marching on with empty bags. We got there, and I was having a hard time breathing. I thought we were crazy, but better being safe than sorry. It's not like our daughter could make that track. No. Well, Grandma took care of us, gave me a lot of hugs, gave Mammy a lot of hugs. And, yeah. She gave us a lot of food. And I was happy about that. We achieved our goal. to visit Grandma and get food for us for the next 2 days. So we waited until the snow calmed down a little bit, which it didn't. Marched right out there, after fully recuperating. We followed our tracks, and I had to stop a few times to breathe. I'm sorry. But yeah, we had a lot of food. It lasted for 3 days. Here's the kicker, alright? The next day we played no, the whole time we were there we played board games and stuff, but we kept ourselves busy. And there was no Wi-Fi up there, so I'm sorry I couldn't contact any of you, especially you, Leon. Um, let's see. Yes, that's my train of thought. We, you know, bunkered down and recovered. I was having a hard time fully recovering, so my body was in a constant sore state, and I couldn't get any good sleep. But I still made it, you know? So we just played board games at this point until the next day, or like close to the last day. To we Mammy wanted to visit Grandma, and snow was pretty deep. We walked out, trotting along with now our 3-year-old toddler in the snow. I thought it was a mistake. That was a bad idea. But before we left, she really wanted to see Grandma again. So we did. We grabbed a sled, which they call a toboggan, and went up there. It was difficult at first, but yeah, we made it. Chilling out next to our heater, with Mammy giving my inhaler, and Panfu playing with Grandma's toys again. And she loved it. Especially the rocking chair. No, the rocking horse they brought down for her. They had a good conversation. Great meal. And her grandma makes good dumplings. Yeah. It was a sobering moment. Very sad. When we had to go that day. Mammy felt so sad that we had to come back home. You know, you never know how much time you got left. And it doesn't matter how old or young you are, you just don't know. I stayed strong for her after all, for this. We went back home, the snow stopped, and everything was melting. Yeah, our 3 days are almost up with this. So, we decided on our way back, I want to cheer our family up by playing in the snow. I couldn't, I was kind of struggling, but we slid down the snow, played with Grandma's dogs, and for the rest of the evening, we just sat down and watched movies. So, last day. The parents came, we had a good time talking, and I did promise we would come back. Yeah, I had a good time. Mammy felt very bad that we couldn't explore everything, how she seen everything, but in my opinion, that's enough for me. It was an event and fun. Um, so the 24th. Oh man, that was something. So the 24th, we're supposed to come back home on here. So we rent a hotel before the 24th, and they took us to the hotel, and well, we were visited by Mammy's sister and her niece. The same sister at the beginning of the story. And apparently her niece is a Smash player. Yeah. So we all had they decided they want to watch our daughter while Mammy and I had a date night, which was nice. We even got to see a movie. What was it? Oh yes, it was Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness. By the way, this is not scripted. I didn't write any of this down. This is all from my lips to your ears. It was a great movie. I wasn't really excited to watch it, but yeah, it ended up being a great movie. My bad. And we ate some Asian cuisine. I really wanted a burger. I haven't had a good burger in the whole week and a half being there. I think I lost some good amount of weight too. Anyway, yeah. We came back at around 8 or 9ish, and they came back with our daughter. And she had a lot of fun and new toys. So she has this penguin toy that sings and dances, and she used to have this doggy toy that did the same, but we call her Sissy. And she would never let go of it. Even that night at the hotel, she got so upset she couldn't sleep with Penguin. Alright, so last day, they took us to the airport. We got in, we had some pizza, and there was not that many people. In fact, the flight was like 20 minutes. That's amazing. Shortest flight I ever had through this whole adventure. And then we got to Texas. Oh man. That was a lot of people for the flight back home. The place was full of people. It's like a mall. It's like a mall slash airport. I even got a freaking Coca-Cola bottle that was imported from Mexico there. That was cool. But yeah, we sat down our spots. We ate, and little Pamphlet was kind of getting a little tired and grumpy at this point. So she was kind of screamy at first when we went aboard the airport. And the place where we're going from Colorado, there's a 2-hour difference. Yeah? So, it was late, she was tired, she was screaming, we tried to calm her down through the flight. Some people gave us nasty looks, like they never heard of a kid yell. She was a good girl though. She was a very good girl. But very tired. We managed to land after 2 hours in the air. And I thought first time we did this, they lost our luggage. I thought they lost our stuff, Fox. They lost our stuff, again, you know? So we're all tired and grumpy. The jet lag is hitting us. We Ubered somebody, and we got our stuff after half an hour. It was 2:45 in the morning. Our Uber driver tried to get to us, and the lot was just full. It was bad. And and also, we left our uh, shuttle, spacecraft, car with Mammy's friends, which also happens to have our house key in there. Yeah. Yep, yeah. So we were able to get to the to our destination with Mammy's friends, which was holding our cars. Thank you so much, you guys. Um. Oh man, it was 3:25. 3:25 in the morning. We knocked on the door, and we met her husband, and then we got our car keys, and we got into our car. It was the best feeling ever. You think we can have you would not miss driving your own vehicle, but man, that I miss the feeling. Not gonna lie. We drove her home. We drove her to a gas station. Got ourselves some drinks because I haven't had caffeine in 1.5 week. Got home, stripped down, passed out. My body didn't function until today. So that is my story about my adventure. I will tell you about a little bit more of the Guffy Gourd adventure later, if you guys are still interested in me just blabbering out about my life. Maybe I show some more pictures. Well, with that in mind, that's the story for now. If you listened to all of it, thank you. If you haven't, well, I'm glad you even tried. This has been Seiker, and I'm back. And if all of you guys were missing me, I appreciate it. I missed you too. Please like and subscribe if you want to hear more. I'll be playing games soon, so we all can have a good time to chill. Ta-ta for now. Seiker out.